Man, how in the hell? I'm confused. Boy, I'm confused. I got the link up, man. Chime in, join the panel with me. Keith Thurman, Tszyu versus Keith Thurman, and of course, it'll be for the WBO 54-pound scrap. But what the hell? Here's the question: where the hell Keith Thurman come from? Out of left field. I mean, literally out of nowhere, here comes Keith Thurman. What? I'm confused, man. And I'm over here looking at the landscape of 47 for Boots Ennis, saying, the scalp of Keith Thurman don't look good. And out of nowhere, here comes Keith Thurman. What up, YouTube? Big T Heavy Bad Boxing TV, man. Get your ass in here and hit the bag. I know it's kind of late. Shout out anybody who might come through here and rock out with your boy. I got the open panel. Please come join me in this discussion because I got questions and I ain't got no damn answers. Like, where the hell did Keith Thurman come? Where Keith Thurman come from, bro? This nigga come out of nowhere and getting the scrap and getting the Tszyu fight. I ain't even gonna front. The Tszyu versus Bud Crawford fight sounded so right to me. You know what I mean? That was logical for me, for Bud Crawford. Made all the sense in the world, right? But now out of nowhere, Keith Thurman ain't been in the ring 2 years. Ain't been in the ring since Mario Barrios, February 2022. This is scheduled for March 3rd. So 25 months out of the ring, he comes back. And he's in a title shot in a whole different weight class. Out of no fucking where. Out of nowhere. Got the open panel, man. Right there in the comments, man. Smash the link. Come join the panel. I need answers, y'all. I know it's late. But what the hell? Keith Thurman out of nowhere. 25 months out the ring. And see, this is what I think it is. I think it's Al Heyman in the PBC saying, look, Keith, goddamn it, you're being worrisome. He been wearing them for a fight. You know he was trying to demand them big paydays that he used to get. You're not getting that no more. That shit, that's a thing of the past. Keith Thurman ain't receiving no 8 figures no more to fight nobody. He wanted that big fight with Bud Crawford or Earl Spence. Before they actually did the Undisputed. He's been outside looking in. But I think he must be cool with Al Heyman, bro, because to come out of nowhere, and if I'm not mistaken, I want to say that fight with Mario Barrios was supposed to be some kind of WBC eliminator. So to jump up out of nowhere, cut the line, and be, or maybe am I misinformed? Was he ranked number 1 in the WBO at 47? This is a different weight class. That's the thing that's throwing me off, bro. How the fuck Keith Thurman? Come on, man. Come on, man. Open panel, man. Smash that link in the comments and come on in here and talk to your boy, man. I need some company, man, because I don't even know if I can digest this all by myself. Out of nowhere, Keith Thurman will be fighting. It appears will be fighting Tszyu for the WBO scrap. What? And the only thing, again, for me, for Tim Tszyu that made sense was the Bud Crawford fight. But again, I think this boils down to the PBC just trying their best to get Keith Thurman out of the way. Because he loses this fight. Now, I think Keith Thurman was a hell of a fighter. You know what I mean? I think we all thought it was a point in time where you could have really considered Keith Thurman the best welterweight in the world. I picked Keith Thurman to beat Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? That's how, much I was riding out on with Keith Thurman. I picked him, I thought youth and the skill set that Keith had would get him over that Manny Pacquiao hump. But since that fight and that huge payday, I think he made a little over 10 million in that fight. Bro been chilling, and he been chilling since he been a champ anyway. You know what I'm saying? Ever since he unified, beat Sean Porter. Who was it? Yeah, Danny Garcia. And that nigga been chilling, man. Loses to Pacquiao, massive payday. He disappears. Well, what did you fought like once in the last 5 years? 4 or 5 years? And then to come out of nowhere. So Keith Thurman, and listen, I don't know if y'all remember, but Danny Garcia wanted to run it back. Keith Thurman told because Danny Garcia went to 54, of course. He told Danny Garcia to get in shape and let's do it at 47. He was challenging Bud and Earl at 47. Now all of a sudden he's a 54-pounder challenging Tszyu for the title, and it looks like it's official. I'm confused, man. Somebody give me some clarity, man. Open panel right there in the comment section, man. Smash the link. Come on in here. If you're having issues with the link, make sure you type it in the chat. I got you. I need some help trying to figure out what the hell is going on and how the hell, where did Keith Thurman come from? Because in my head, I'm like, all right, well, 47 is depleted. I got you. But you still got old ass Keith Thurman down there. That's a great scalp for Jerron Boost and it's to collect. Maybe they can get that done if he can't get the Stanionis fight. But Keith Thurman is a 54-pounder now, all of them. Keith Thurman, a 54-pounder all of a sudden, and is in a big fight with Tim Tszyu for the WBO scrap. And yo, check this shit out. Now, listen, I think he loses. I think Tim Tszyu beats Keith Thurman, maybe even knocks him out. I think it's a good possibility he knocks him out. That's in my opinion now. But if Keith can turn back the hands of time, and because he's got incredible footwork, you could never take nothing away from his skill set. But I mean, does he still really have it versus somebody who's young and hungry like a Tim Tszyu and who's got plenty of power and a big frame, and it's your first rodeo at 54? I think all of the odds is against Keith Thurman. But if he is able to box his way into a victory somehow, some way, he rearranges everything. Tim Tszyu could come. Keith Thurman could come through and throw salt in every goddamn thing, bro. Now, because see, I'm surprised about this. Now I'm trying to see what the outcome potentially could be. Right? This nigga could come along, take the WBO scrap, and now you got Spence looking, you got Bud looking, you got the rest of the 54 looking. That's crazy, bro. I just don't understand how the hell and what the hell how Keith Thurman come out of left field and lands a fight with Tim Tszyu for the WBO scrap. That's crazy. Panel open right there in the chat, man. Click the link. Come on in here with your boy if you're up, if you're moving around. I need some answers. Maybe you can help clarify some things, or maybe you got some questions yourself. There's plenty of questions. because I all but felt like it was only right that Bud Crawford moved to 54 and challenged Tszyu. I just thought that was the next logical fight. If I'm being 100% honest, I understood Bud didn't want to go to 50, defend at 47 versus Boots. It's not a really big fight, but it was history to be made at 54 for Bud, right? Titles at 35, 40, 47, and 54. Those specific weight classes, only 6 fighters to ever do it before. Bud would make the 7th with a win over Tszyu. So a lot of history there. Then ultimately, it puts you in position at 54 for undisputed if you Bud Crawford. And maybe trying to get that fight with Jermell Charlo if those belts don't get stripped or vacated. That route for Bud just seemed, you know what I mean? That just seemed like that was the plan to me. That was the blueprint, right? But now out of left motherfucking field, here comes Tszyu. I mean, Keith Thurman. And again, if Keith Thurman has the perfect night, he could walk out of there the WBO champ. Now listen, again, I don't think he beats Tszyu. I think Tszyu gonna knock the rust off his ass because he most definitely got rust 25 months out the ring. But I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, somehow, some way, if Keith Thurman beats Tszyu, boy, he didn't fucked up the whole, you know what I mean, everything. And then, mind you, this is somebody whom, but Keith Thurman, let's just say he does become WBO 54 champ. This is somebody that Bud Crawford said he wouldn't fight, and Errol Spence would never fight, right? So that puts them out of the runnings. It just completely upsets everything moving forward. And I truly feel that it's Al Heyman and the PBC way of saying, all right, Keith, this is it, bro. This is your last hurrah, man. You've been sitting on the sideline patiently, you know what I'm saying? You know we ain't had nothing for you because you pissed off the niggas with the belts. So you've been having to sit by the wayside and wait. You no longer can command those crazy 8-figure paydays. You got to get what we give you. Now we'll give you this opportunity to win a WBO scrap. If you can do that, then we can talk. But this is it. Outside of this, you're going to be, for real, a glorified gatekeeper. And that's the only thing that makes sense to me because for Keith Thurman to come out of nowhere and get a title shot. Excuse me, I hope that ain't mess y'all shit up. To get a title shot against Tszyu, it just like how, nigga? How? That's crazy, man. Got the panel open, man. Right there in the comment section. If you got any questions, put those in the comments too. But I got the link in the comment section. Join me. I would love to hear from you, man. Help me digest what the hell just happened. How did Keith Thurman out of nowhere, being out of the ring 25 months, land a shot at the WBO scrap against Tszyu in a whole different weight class at 54? How did we get here? It's like the RKO out of nowhere. I can almost guarantee that Keith Thurman wasn't on nobody's radar as far as fighting for a title at 54 versus a damn Tszyu. Now, lie to me and tell me you were. Lie to me and tell me he was, bro. I was convinced that Al Heyman was going to feed Keith Thurman to Boots Ennis down there at 47 because there's nothing else left there. If he couldn't get the standing on his fight, you might as well put the best name that you could possibly put on Boots' record, which would have been a Keith Thurman. But this nigga come out of nowhere and is challenging Tszyu at 54 for the WBO scrap. Shout out Coco in the chat. Coco 007. What up, man? Come on in here, man. I got the link right there. Smash the link. Come on in here. That's crazy, man. How? But this is one way to get Keith Thurman out of the way, because again, I do believe Tszyu wins this fight. Or it could backfire. It could backfire, because I'm just saying, on some real shit, Keith Thurman could have had a perfect night against Tszyu. Keith Thurman could have had a perfect night against him. And it's not like Keith Thurman ever lacked real skills. It was at one point in time where you got to be honest, man. If you're old enough to remember when Keith Thurman was the unified champion, you could argue that he was the best welterweight in the sport of boxing. I don't think he's lost a lot of skills. It's just with the inactivity. And now that he's aged, Keith Thurman being like, 35 years old, you can't afford to be that inactive. You know what I mean? Shout out Coco. Coco said, I'm a woman, but hey, all is well. Okay. Okay, Coco. Appreciate you. Appreciate you chiming in, baby. But you can't sit here and say Keith Thurman wasn't that guy. He was that guy. He was a unified WBO and WBC champion. He was unified, or WBA, WBC, if I can remember correctly. Up until that one lonely loss to Manny Pacquiao, he was the guy. So I'm not saying that this is impossible. I'm not saying it's an impossible feat to get in there and have a perfect night versus a Tszyu. I think it's very unlikely. In my opinion, I think Tszyu might destroy Keith Thurman. But it could happen. And that could potentially backfire on Al Heyman in the PBC too. Because I'm just saying, it just feels like a ploy, man. It feels like we got to do something for Keith Thurman. We owe him one, right? To come out of nowhere and you fighting in a whole different weight class. You're not a champion. You're fighting in a whole different weight class, and out of nowhere you skip the line and you're fighting for the WBO scrap against Tszyu. This is a favor, nigga. Somebody did you a favor. Somebody did this nigga a favor. They said, come on, Keith. Come on, Keith. All right, we're gonna let you cut the line. Come on. It's just not making a lot of sense to me. I got the link in the chat. Join the panel. Come rock with me. Talk to me. I need some help figuring this out, man. Something ain't right. Something ain't sitting right, man. How did Keith Thurman get here is the question. And what the hell happened to 47? What the hell happened to Stanionis? What the hell happened to Boots? Because if anything, and see, look, he completely avoids Boots. He went to Al. He was like, yo, well, listen, Boots got the scrap now. I had a better chance at them old niggas with Earl Spence and Bud. At least they up there with me. I can't do nothing with Boots in this, man. I don't give a damn about that IBF belt. What can you do for me, Al? And Al reached down in his bag of tricks and is giving Keith Thurman Tszyu at 54. That's crazy. How did we get here, man? But on the flip side, if we can get any kind of glimpse of the old Keith Thurman, I think this is a good fight. If we get a glimpse of the old Keith Thurman, I don't think Tszyu has seen that kind of footwork, because let's keep it a buck. Keith Thurman was a very well polished, fundamentally sound, great foot movement, and a really, really big right hand fighter. He wasn't a unified champion for no reason, right? But you fast forward so many years later, My man went from the braids all the way down to the back to the crazy ball spot up top. Things have changed, nigga. But if he can have a big night, it's gonna be interesting to see, man. I hate the fact that they putting this on pay-per-view because I don't believe Keith Thurman. He's not that name anymore. Like we're a long ways away from 2016, 2017, bro. We're a long ways away from there. Keith Thurman is no longer that type of attraction. Bottom line, those days are behind him. He's got to, because they talking about this joint gonna be on pay-per-view. March 30th. ESPN reported March 30th. Pay-per-view. Nah, bro. Shout out James Daly in the chat. I got the link in the comment section too, man. If you want to come on the panel, man, chime in. James Daly say Tszyu still waiting on Crawford to become WO mandatory. Eventually moves on. Tszyu still waiting on Crawford to become. I guess, man. I don't. He already the WBO champ. They could have made that fight if they wanted that fight, bro. Ghost in the chat. What up, man? Y'all, I got the link in the chat too. Got the StreamYard link. Tap that link. Come on in. Come rock with your boy on the panel. Go say, damn you by KO, but Keith can catch him with an overhand right. Tszyu like eating them, but this shouldn't be no pay-per-view. I ain't paying for that. Facts. Nobody want to pay for that shit, bro. Absolutely not. This is not the glory days for Keith Thurman. Now, 7 years ago, I would have said, yeah, cool. I'm with that because I think Tszyu is an exciting fighter, and I think eventually, maybe he'll earn the right to be a pay-per-view star, but not right now. Not against an old bald head Keith Thurman. If this was Keith Thurman with the braids, maybe. Pre-Pacquiao, maybe. But nah, nobody want to pay for this shit. Facts. Frank Scarphone in the chat, he says Tszyu proves nothing with this. He has to win and dominate in fashion just to save face. I think for a lot of people, yeah, they're gonna feel that way. But the way I see it, even with an old dog and Keith Thurman at 35 years old, I always felt like Keith had crazy skills. And if somehow, some way he doesn't come into this fight completely rusty, people will understand why Tszyu would have a few problems with a fleet-footed, great footwork in Keith Thurman, if it's still there. If the age and the ring rust isn't completely apparent, and you have a polished Keith Thurman, I think he's a problem for anybody, to be completely honest. Again, I know his glory days is behind him, but this was a unified two belt champ. He wasn't that for no reason. The dude had skill. But when you factor in the ring rust and him maybe have aged out a little bit, I think Tszyu wins, and he could win in tremendous fashion. But if he has some problems with Keith Thurman, I think most will understand, hey, at the end of the day, it was a Keith Thurman that looked halfway good. He's going to be difficult for anybody, just the footwork alone. All right, because Keith can move. And I don't think Tszyu has ever faced anybody who truly moves like Keith Thurman. That's if we get that version of Keith Thurman. Word. I buy all the fights. I support the fighters, period, man. I support the sport, period. I don't cheat them. I get entertained off of all of it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a true fan. It's not disrespectful to Keith. It's just his age, inactivity, and coming up weight, for sure. For sure. That's facts, man. I completely agree with that. When you factor all of those things in, you feel like this is a wash. Shit. At least that's how I'm putting. Listen, and let me go on record right now. Again, I got Tszyu, and not only do I got Tszyu, I think Tszyu can stop him or knock him out. Bottom line, all I'm saying is for that very slight chance that we don't get a 35-year-old aged ring rusted Keith Thurman, but somehow, some way, we get a glimpse of the braids Keith Thurman. It could be a tough night for Tszyu. And then on top of that, he still win. I think he still wins. But boy, if Keith Thurman could pull it off, he'll upset the ecosystem like a motherfucker, boy. How long has Keith Thurman been out? He's been out 25 months, bro. He hasn't fought since he fought Mario Barrios, which I believe they was calling it the WBC title eliminator. That was back in February 2022, bro. So by the time this fight take place, he'd been out of the ring 25 months. And he's only fought one time in the last over 4 years. He's only fought one time in the last 4.5 years, I believe it is. Coco said Prime about to have a hell of a price point for this. Facts. This need to be one of them $39.95. This need to be 30. No. Matter of fact, this need to be a welcome to Prime price. Goddamn it, $19.99. Dub. Oh, listen, man, my dog in the back crying. I might have to take him outside. Frank said, correct me if I'm wrong as well, because I don't have the actual records, but I don't think he's had a knockout since maybe 2014. Keith Thurman, yeah. Shit, you might be right, man. I can't even remember the last motherfucker he knocked out. Ever since he started fighting the upper echelon, he ain't knocked nobody out. No Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Pacquiao, Barrios. None of those guys. It's been a minute since he had a knockout. That's why I say he should have changed it. His name definitely not one time no more. It's been forever. I only buy it if the price is like 40. Facts. Yeah. $39.95, $40. I can get that. I mean, I'm going to purchase it regardless, but I'm just saying I don't want to buy it and be doing all that complaining about it. I'm damn sure gonna buy it. Panel's open, man. Please come join me if you would like to. At the top of your chat, I got it pinned for you. StreamYard. Join the panel, man. Come talk with me. Help me get an understanding. Keith Thurman out of nowhere. And I really thought, and what's crazy, man? I thought for Al Heyman and the PBC to go ahead and get rid of Keith Thurman, like I said prior, was to go ahead and feed him to Boots. You know what I mean? I just knew that was the plan. To understand that Keith Thurman, probably his best days are behind him. Jaron Ennis, he needs a name, but because he's not signed with those guys, he couldn't get that fight. Damn, boy, the boxing dirty as hell. But it made a lot of sense, especially now that he has a title. And Keith Thurman was at 47. He wanted to fight Bud at 47. He wanted to fight Errol Spence at 47. But you don't fight the new IBF champion and Jaron Boots Ennis at 47. You opt to completely move weight classes, go up to 54, and take this Tszyu fight. Wow. Yeah, I do. I cover the fights. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. You say, but you do content is different. You cover the fight. Yeah, I try. Like the big fights that I really like, I do a live commentary for sure. So you can always check out those joints, and you can go on my page and check out the lives and see some of the live commentary joints I've done. For sure, I appreciate that love too, Ghost. James Daly, he said, is Tszyu an avoided fighter? Not really, man, because he's been like the boogeyman a little bit for the WBO. Well, I can't even really say that. You know what I'm saying? I think Charlo has avoided him, but he's seen the likes of a Brian Mendoza now and a Tony Harrison, a former world champion, the man who actually beat the undisputed or former undisputed champion in Jermell Charlo. So guys have been willing to fight him. He's the only person that I truly believe has avoided Tszyu was Jermell Charlo. And it looks like he'll continue to avoid him due to these uh, personal domestic situation shit he got. But nah, man, because he can't be avoided now because you got niggas coming off the couch. Keith Thurman is coming off the couch, bro. Let's everybody understand that. Keith Thurman has not been busy. He hasn't had a fight in over 2 years. He's coming off the couch to fight Tszyu, which I think is a recipe for disaster. Damn, I think my baby. I think my baby might got now. Okay. Yeah, he coming off the couch, man. He basically coming off the couch. Smash that like button too if y'all in here rocking with your boy, man. You know what I mean? If you in here just chilling out, man, smash the like button. See if I can get somebody to come in here on the panel with me and talk some of this Keith Thurman and Tszyu. Don't be afraid, man. Smash that link and come rock with your boy. Go say Jermell, I believe, gonna set it at 160. I don't see him coming back down to 54. That could very well be true. I wish he wouldn't have said and talked all that shit about Tszyu if that's the case. You know what I mean? Because I was definitely looking forward to that fight. But he said he wanted to keep the belts. If he gonna keep the belts, then you got to come to 54. Now, when it's official and he vacate them all, then we'll have our answer. Frank say, I know call outs and contracts are different, but I think both Lubin and Ortiz at this stage of their careers are better options. Than Keith Thurman? Yeah, anybody who's active is a better option than Keith Thurman. He hasn't fought in over 2 years. And Virgil Ortiz was on the sideline for about 16, 17 months, but that was due to a health condition that kept him out of the ring. But at least he's fought. He just had a fight. You know what I mean? I think Lubin might have turned down the smoke with Tszyu, bro. I think Lubin actually turned down the Tszyu fight, if I ain't mistaken. If I ain't damn mistaken. I could be wrong. If you know, let me know. But I think I heard that Lubin was offered the Tszyu fight, and he turned it down. I don't know if he had an injury, he's got an injury or something. I'm not sure. But Keith Thurman, I don't know goddamn well. Oh, Mark Wynn. My guy, Mark Wynn in the bit. Yo, everybody, real quick, shout out my guy, Mark Wynn, straight from down under Australia. Cop the heavy bag boxing TV t-shirt and be rocking it out there, man, representing for your boy. I salute you, Mark Wynn. Thank you, man, for all of your support coming through, man. I appreciate you, big dog. Okay, go say Lubin said he was waiting on a date and he never got it, but he could be lying. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know how true that is. Lubin won his last fight. He didn't look that great in that fight. A lot of people felt like he could have lost that fight. I'm trying to think of the dude he fought, man. One of them Latinos, I believe it was. I can't remember. Who did Lubin fight last, man? I know he didn't look that great. Um, but would I like to see him versus a Tszyu? Sure. But I think Tszyu wins. I think he busts Lubin up good. Lubin then lost to Fundora, uh, who Brian Mendoza knocked out. And I think Tszyu knocks all of them dudes out, to be honest. To me, man, at 54, Tim is definitely one of the big fish. You know what I mean? I don't see too many guys beating Tszyu. If you watch this channel, you know I ride high on Tszyu for sure. Yeah. Open panel too, Mark Wynn. If you actually want to come up here and talk some boxing with me, bro. If you want to tell everybody about your guy Tszyu, you can smash that link that I pinned at the top, the StreamYard link. Check it out and come on in here and talk some boxing if you would like to, bro. Peter Nut in the chat. What's up, Pete? Appreciate you coming through. He said this is a tune-up fight for Tszyu before Crawford. Wow. Hey, I can dig it, man. It very well may be. And listen, when you really look at it, this is a great name to have on the resume for Tszyu, because when you really look at Tszyu's resume, that was an issue for a lot of people, and why I thought it was a hold up for him fighting Charlo until he got to that mandatory position. So for legacy's sake, if nothing else, for legacy's sake, to put Keith Thurman, who's only got one loss now, let's remember this about Keith Thurman. He's only got one loss, and that one loss came to a legend in Manny Pacquiao. And so nobody else can say that they beat Keith Thurman outside of a legend and Manny Pacquiao. And you know how that go when you fight a legend. More than likely you could lose. So to have the scalp of Keith Thurman on Tszyu's resume, that looks fantastic, man. And if, of course, if you get a glimpse or some flashes of the old Keith Thurman, it could be an interesting fight. We may even get a classic if Keith Thurman can turn back the hands of time a little bit. We could get a classic, man. And that's what I'm pulling for. I'm gonna keep it 100. I feel like, in my opinion, Tszyu wins this fight. But I hope that it's a good fight, and I hope that we can consider it a classic fight. You know what I mean? Just a straight war. Okay. Peter Nutt, go say, Jesus Alejandro Ramos Jr. is who Lubin for. Yeah. That was a tough fight. Yeah, it was Ramos Jr. That was a tough ass fight for Lubin. And you could argue Ramos won that fight. Matter of fact, for me, I felt like Ramos won that fight, to be completely honest. Peter Nutt say for Tszyu is one American at a time. That's it, bro. And you hear what he said after the Brian Mendoza fight. He definitely wants to come. And I think that's another reason why they throwing Keith Thurman in his way, because after that Brian Mendoza fight, Tim was adamant about coming to Vegas. He was like, this is the fight. After this fight, I want nothing but big fights in Las Vegas. And so he gets an opportunity to go to Vegas and see Keith Thurman. So I can dig it. For sure. James Eddie said, I agree, Pete. He not waiting for Crawford to decide, for sure. Said, nice show, my man, watching from Australia. Okay, my Aussie family, man. Hey, I got a few Aussie family members out there, man. I appreciate you chiming in, Peter Nutt. Go say, if only they could go in there and do what Gotti Ward did, for sure. Man, you don't get no more fights like that no more, bro. That's what I want to see. Some Gotti Ward type shit, for sure. See, I thought Ramos won too, for sure. Me too. I would have gave him the nod. All right, guys. I wanted to try to get somebody on the panel, but it looked like all y'all some scared asses and don't want to come up here with me. I gave y'all all my thoughts on what I thought this was with Keith Thurman. I'll say it again for anybody who's new in here. Make sure you smash that like button for your boy too, man. If you haven't already, at least do that for me. I think Keith Thurman comes out of nowhere to get a title shot versus a Tszyu for the WBO. Last we known, when he fought Mario Barrios way back in February 2022, that was a WBC title eliminator. He called out Errol Spence before the mega fight. He called out Terrence Crawford before the mega fight. Couldn't get either one of those fights. Um, both of those fighters, and Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, said that they didn't want anything to do with Keith Thurman, and that stems back from when he was champion, and he didn't want to give those guys an opportunity. And for those of you who don't know the backstory, Keith Thurman was kind of held out of any title shots with Bud Crawford or Errol Spence, because at one time, when most considered Keith Thurman the best welterweight in the sport of boxing and a unified champ, he wasn't looking Bud Crawford's way, and he didn't want to unify with Errol Spence. Those fights never came to fruition. So fast forward, when Keith is no longer the champion, he loses to Manny Pacquiao. Now he's beltless, and he's looking for a fight versus the best in the business, or best in the division, versus a Bud and an Earl. They're reluctant to give him a fight. That leaves him beltless. That leaves his name in the dirt. He's trying to continue to command the type of paydays he used to make when he was champion. That hasn't been the case. They leave him for dead at 47. If you look at the landscape at 47, there's really nobody there left outside of a Jaron Ennis, a Bud Crawford, who's champion, who probably won't defend there, a Stanionis, and a Keith Thurman, right? So no big fights for you at 47, Keith. Everything is in 54. When you really look at the landscape now at 54, all of the big names are there. More than likely, Bud and Spence going to be there next as far as their next fights. If you the PBC, if you're Al Heyman, what do? You got to do something with Keith Thurman. He's just sitting on a roster, sitting on the shelf at home on the couch. Get him out of the way. Do him a favor. Give him a title shot versus Tszyu. More than likely he loses. You can get rid of Keith Thurman for the duration of his contract. I'm pretty sure this is probably the last fight on his contract anyway. I think Tszyu beats the brakes off of Keith Thurman. Maybe Keith Thurman has the perfect night. He'll upset the whole ecosystem at 54 if he somehow walks away with a title. I doubt that. But out of nowhere, Keith Thurman versus Tszyu versus Keith Thurman. It's crazy. And I'll answer a few more questions if we got any. Yeah, at least Tszyu gets a big name for Vegas fight for sure. And even though the star power behind the name Keith Thurman has diminished tremendously, I still believe, for legacy's sake, for for Tszyu, it's a great name for the resume for sure. Thurman's getting stopped by Tszyu. I can see it. Spence called Tszyu trash 18 months ago. Tszyu would sleep Spence. I believe that now too. I don't think Spence can fuck with Tszyu. I think Spence get knocked out in that fight too. Zarafa on undercard versus Laura, and Laura been ducking that Danny Garcia smoke. They supposed to be fighting. Hope they not in the same hotel. Word. The comeback kid, welcome to the chat, big dog. I appreciate you stopping by. He say he gonna beat the shit out of Keith. Facts. All right, last chance for anybody to hit that StreamYard link pinned in the comment section and join me. Otherwise, man, I'm carrying my ass to sleep. Y'all ain't have me up here talking to myself and reading a bunch of goddamn comments. Anybody want to join? Going once. Going to Mr. Glue Baby in the chat. He said, wait, what I missed? Keith Thurman about to fight. Yeah, bro. Reported by ESPN, Mike Carpenter. Tszyu versus Keith Thurman, March the 30th. Pay-per-view to kick off the Amazon Prime Video. Crazy. Keith Thurman out of left field. And let's keep it all the way a buck, Mr. Glue Baby. You ain't paid Keith Thurman ass no mind. You ain't know what was on the horizon for Keith Thurman. And boom, he jumps up a weight class, and now he's fighting Tszyu. Anybody got any questions? Want to jump on the screen? No? Going once? Yeah, it is over for Mr. Glue Baby says over for Keith. Facts. Going once? Going twice? All right, man. That's all I got for y'all on this one. I appreciate everybody coming in here, man. Smash that like button while you in here. Sorry if you just came in here and you missed it. I've been trying to get somebody to join the screen with me, but everybody been too pussy to do so. So I'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Much love to my guy Mark Wynn. I was hoping Tyree Celestine was gonna be up, man. Peter Nutt, my Aussie family. I appreciate y'all, man. Hopefully you grow some balls and jump in the next one with me. I'm out of here. Peace.